Welcome to Narrowboat the James built. Hope you're well, thanks for joining me. Today I am going to try to put up a ceiling panel. I say try, basically it's this stuff here, which is this 1.5 mil, really flexible sheet. You see, it's not exactly going to be easy to manoeuvre. So, I mean, you saw what I did with the bathroom ceiling on bloody Slow Patrol, so goodness knows how I'm going to do this. One thing I definitely need are helpers. So I've got Rob this weekend, Marlon's here, and I've got the twins, although I don't think they're going to be able to help do the ceiling because of their height. But they could pass me stuff, I guess. The other thing I'm going to need to do is a whole lot of work to the roof, or the ceiling, because as you can see there's massive cavities here, which is not good for insulation, but also it's got nothing to bond this stuff to. I mean, I'm fine on the sides and there's some stuff here, but some of these battens aren't in the right position for the alignment of all the trim. So I've basically got my work cut out to find whatever scraps I can to make battens and fill the rest with spray foam. So a little trip to Screwfix is in order first. So this area of the hatch at the back of the boat hasn't really had any work, so I've got to take off some of the old battens and replace them with some new battens, put some spray foam in, and then I can clamp the new PVC ceiling to these battens. I'm trying some different techniques for doing this spray foaming. Basically, I need it to all look like that in the end, because the stuff's quite thin. If you were to touch the inside of the PVC from this side, I wouldn't want there to be any movement in it. Whereas on this bit here, obviously, there'd be a load of movement because there's nothing behind it. So it needs to basically all be like that, which is going to take a lot of spray foam, and I can't have much wastage. I can't have really any wastage. So I need to improve my technique, because I'm getting a bit of wastage because all that's got to be trimmed off. So there's a few ways of doing it, and Rob's coming on board with a load of silver tape and an aubergine, which is a in-joke, something to do with Marlon. Yeah, and then we can make some strips going all the way across and maybe try to pack it all without any wastage.
Oh, good.
Well, we'll give that 20 minutes and see what it looks like when we take the foil off. Could always leave the foil on, obviously.
Well, yeah, I think as long as we've got a good contour.
Yeah, it's not particularly even though, is it, at the moment?
Well, that one we still need to fill up.
It's a bit sore on the old arms, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sweet. Right, Marlon and I are helping Rob reverse back to cow roast to get water. Right, we're going to see how this works in terms of smoothing it off, and then we might have to see if we can replicate it on a larger scale. And Rob's now on his way back down with my twins on board. Hello, twins. Right, and Rob's parking space is still available. This approach isn't quite working. We think it needs air contact because it's not setting. So Rob's just making a few screws to get a bit of air into the... Yeah, it's not setting at all, is it?
No.
Right, good morning. The board I'm going to do today, hopefully today, is this first one here. So this ceiling panel here. And there's a few things I've got to cut out of it. So there's the mushroom vent there, There's a lamp there. There's another lamp here. To go in the middle there. And then there's the hatch. I'm not going to cut this out. I'm just going to take that off, put the roof, put the ceiling in, and then put that back so I have a nice, so that'll look all right. What else have I got to do before that? Oh yeah. So it's mostly spray foamed. The two approaches I used were kind of covering an area of it and then putting a little hole in, filling it with spray foam, but it kind of didn't work because it didn't set properly, and it took a long time for it to set. So I think the easiest way to do it, and also there's still a little bit of wastage out of that because when you peel it off, because it's not set, a lump of it falls through. The way I did like this area here and these ones here is just building it up in levels. You do get a little bit of wastage, a few little drips, but that's it. It's not much. And then there's less cutting back to do, I guess, from that. It doesn't fill it completely, but I can get it kind of pretty much filled in most of the spots. I've got a few little bits to finish up now. A few bits up in there just to finish. But otherwise, yeah, the spray foaming for this board is done. So I've got a couple of holes out, which is, I haven't tried that yet. So the first one I'm going to do is cut this big bit out here and see how it cuts. It's only 1.5 mil. I've got a whole load of decent jigsaw blades, so I'll give that a go. I could score it with a knife possibly, but I seem to remember last time I used PVC with a knife, it's a really tricky cut. So I'm going to cut inside the line and then I'll be able to sand it back. The other thing I need to do is, well, I'm going to see, this first panel is basically going to be a test to make sure, well, see if I can improve things or not. But along all the joists where the screws are going to go in, just to kind of keep all the contour kind of the same, I'm going to go in with a bit of this double-sided like rubber strip stuff. I've put some up here and here, so I've just got to continue all of this throughout this first section, do the spray foaming and then clear this area and then see if I can start to cut the board, move the board down here, which ain't going to be easy, and then see if I can rest it somewhere and start cutting it. I've got Arthur sanding down some trim for the galley. That's what the roof lining was like, and now this is the bit I've kind of filled up, and to be honest with you, it's kind of 80% full, I'd say. There's a few little spots where I've got to leave a few kind of void areas, mushroom vent for the lights there. I've put all this, whatever it is, this kind of rubber tape on, which I guess the idea of it was to make it all level and take out any kind of imperfections, which, well, I'll see if it does or not. I'm really not sure if it's going to achieve anything. I've kind of cleared the area. I've just got to do a little bit more, and then I can bring a board down and start marking up the cuts. Right. I kind of want it over there, don't I? Blimey. Right, so this is the protective cover, and unlike the protective cover that comes on stainless steel, this one's actually relatively easy to peel off, he says. Yeah, so that should be all right. So I can kind of put it up with obviously the blue side down, and right, so should I then turn it over so that I can just basically mirror and put it straight up, or no, not mirror it, do it exact and put it straight up. So I've got to, yeah, otherwise I'm losing myself in it all. Yeah, and then that goes straight up. Cool. Okay. Let's start. I've got to mark everything out first. Right, I've marked out the centre line and the mushroom vent, the lamps and the hatch. Now I'm going to attempt to cut this and see how it cuts. I've got my hole cutter for the 2 lamps. I don't know what I'm going to do for the mushroom vent yet. But my plan is to go through it with a jigsaw. I've marked it out for the hatch bigger than what the actual hatch is, so then I can kind of file it back afterwards and get it nice. So that's the plan. Right, so yeah, as I said, I tried it with a Stanley blade when I had this stuff before, and I think I had thinner stuff than this and it didn't like it, so I'm going to try just to go through it with a jigsaw cut. I've got loads of kind of tolerance, so I'm just going to take it really slow so I don't heat up the plastic and then it all melts to the blade, and I've got a really decent blade on this. And I've got a bit of a bad back, so if I keep twinging, that's why. Oh, a battery might help. Right, let's try this. Yeah, perfect. That's pretty easy. Good, okay. This is not very easy. This will work. Okay, next up is the lamp. And I'm going to need to do that on some scrap timber, I think. Hole saw, I think this is a 58 by the looks of it. Looks about right. Right, another lamp over there. Oh, don't snap. And then the mushroom vent, which is an 80, so I think I'll probably go through it with this and then jigsaw it. I have dropped the kids off. I'm without kids, but also Rob has decided to move, so and Marlon's not here, so I'm actually on my own for the crucial bit. But I've got a couple of aqua props. I'm going to give it a go. There's a guy on a boat behind me if I need, maybe. Okay, so what I've got to do now is pre-drill some holes at the end, which is going to go here, along this line here. So I could be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 maybe across that top edge. And then I've got the 4 foot mark, which is denoted here by these bits of frog tape on the wall. So that's 4 foot. I can go anywhere across there, so I'll basically pin it the whole way across. All the way down the sides I can go, basically along this line here, and loads at the back. So let's get cracking doing some of these. So this front one here, the furthermost one, got one on the centre line. I'll be looking forward to sort of hitting myself in that lamp if I can get it, if I can get this ceiling panel up. Where's the line? There it is. Okay. Oh shit, no, don't do that. No. Flip. Ah, no. Okay, that feels about right. I'm worried that this is going to sag a bit too much, and whether I'm going to need to kind of glue it up, and once I've got it all square and true. But I am a bit nervous about this, I've got to say. I think it's going to sag. Okay, the first panel is in and is in its blue form still. I'm quite happy with how it's gone in. Obviously the lights are all, and the mushroom vents all central. It all kind of looks quite nice around the hatch. You'll see obviously where the screws have gone in. It's obviously pinched it in and it's distorted the pattern a little, or distorted the material a little bit. That's not going to be noticeable once the trim's been put on. So it's going to be quite wide trim going across this. yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Put some holes in the thing there to take in the cables into the electrics cupboard. And obviously there's going to be trim down the sides. All of that's going to be covered up to about there. Quite a lot to go still. Well, I can't really resist it, to be honest with you. Right. Yeah, that looks nice. That's going to be decent with the trim up. That's the right kind of sheen I wanted. Oh, feels well nice. Thank you so much to Brian Woods and Sue Cox for helping me purchase some of this PVC. I needed 7 boards in the end, so it's quite a lot of it, and I think I'm pretty happy with how it's gone on. Fits the lights in nicely. I've got the mushroom vent to put in, and I'm thinking this is the only area here where there's no battening, so I reckon if I was to spray foam in there I could shore it up a bit more, but to be honest I'm pretty happy with the amount of non-flex there is, given once all the trim and everything's been put on. The side trim is going to come in quite far, and it kind of sits down quite a bit, so there's going to be enough cavity for gubbins down the sides. I've got to trim quite a bit off the back and off around the hatch just to make it all kind of fit nicely. But yeah, for the first ceiling panel, that was actually all right. Right, now to put the electrics cupboard fascia back on. I might need to trim a bit off that now. Yeah. That's better. Yeah, that's proper. Happy days. Yeah. All right. I quite like the shine it gives when on narrowboats, when you get the reflection off the water and it shines onto the ceiling. I think that's going to look well nice in this boat. Got to work out what kind of trim. I think it's got to have that stuff on the trim, and then dark up there on that bit. I'm not sure. Got to think about all of that. Right, I've got the next piece to do, which is the tricky one, because that is the one with the flue going through it for the diesel stove, which means I need to get some kind of heat proofing, and although it doesn't get that hot, and some kind of decorative ring. So I've got to sort that out. That's the next job. But yeah, I'm happy with this. Thank you very much for watching. Cheers again to Brian and Sue, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.